Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome back to our video presentation of Mathematics 9. We are now in the week 5 and we are using module number 5 of quarter 2 entitled Radical Expressions. Expectations for this module are the following objectives. First is to derive the laws of radicals. The second one is to simplify radical expressions using laws of radicals. So we'll start with lesson number 1. Introduction to radical expressions using discovering the laws of radicals. Okay, what's in? If we will try to recall lesson 3 of module number 4, we have learned how to transform expressions from exponential form to its radical form and vice versa, whose base is algebraic in form, wherein the rational exponent rule number 2 was used, which in symbols is written in this format. We have there the base x raised to exponent m over n can be rewritten or written as the nth root of x then raised to exponent m. So let's try to refresh with a few examples. So the first example you have there, the base is 9 and 4. 9 and exponent 4 are exponent 2. So, if you read that one as 9 and 4 are 2, pwede, no? So, we need to read that one as 9 and exponent 4 are exponent 2. The whole expression is raised to 1/3. Since the fractional exponent 1/3 is written directly next to an enclosed base, then the whole expression will be written under one radicand. So, muna siya ang result. So, ang nasod sa radical symbol is ang tibok expression nga nasod sa parentheses, which is 9 and exponent 4 are exponent 2. Then, ang exponent ko 1/3, i-distribute siya as the exponent gawa sa parentheses, which is the numerator 1, and the denominator 3 serves as the index. Second example. The given is 6 exponent 2/3, b exponent 5/3, c exponent 4/3. Since the base 6, b, and c have the same denominator of its fractional exponent, sa mga fractional exponent, so ayang mga exponent kay puro fraction in nature. Yeah, they have the same denominator 3. Then all base will be written as one radicand, copying the respective exponents of each base. So, when we write the radical symbol, we write also the index 3. Kaya ang tanan nilang denominator for 3. So, that serves as our index. So, ang kanang 2, 5, ug 4, ang mga exponent of each base that will be written and simplified inside the radicand. So, ang 6 square kay 36 number man. When the base is a number, kuhaan ko the exact value. But when the base is a variable like b exponent 5 and c exponent 4, kopyahon lang. Sample number 3. Base 5r minus 4s raised to exponent 3/5. The binomial 5r minus 4s is considered a base of which the exponent 3 will be written outside the parentheses, and 5 will serve as its index. Last example, the expression given is 8a, b exponent 2/5, c exponent 3/5. 8 and a shall be written outside the radical symbol since their exponents are imaginary 1. Obviously, ang exponent sa 8 ug a kay imaginary 1. And only b and c shall be written inside the radicand or the radical symbol, copying their respective exponents of each base. So, exponent sa b kay 2, exponent sa c 3. And their common index is 5. Kaya ilang denominator duha, puro 5. So, na-refresh na inyong memory about module number 4. Okay. The activity prior to this, katatong gansiran ganina, itong refresh, it shows us how to transform expressions from exponential form into its radical form, which is in symbols. Base x exponent m over n can be written as nth root of base x exponent m, or the nth root of x, the whole expression is raised to exponent m. So pwede ang exponent ng m gawa sa parentheses or naa siya sud sa radical symbol. They're just the same. So this is one way of writing from exponential form to its radical form. So what are we talking all about? From exponential to radical. So it lead us to the topic on radicals. Unsa gid ang mga radicals? A radical expression is an expression involving the following parts. Okay, this one. The nth root of base x exponent m. So m there stands for the exponent. X stands for the base. So ang kanang base of exponent represents the radicand. The radicand represents the expression inside the root or square root symbol that includes variables and exponents. So ang base pwede po variable, pwede po siya number, while the exponent is obviously a number. Outside the radicand is the index, represented by n, which serves as the order of the radical. Mostly, it serves as the reference of the divisibility of the exponent in the process of extraction. So, kung mag-simplify na ito ng radical expression nga na ay exponent, so, dapat divisible ang exponent nga sa index. Panalitan, atong index kay 2. So, dapat ang exponent sa base should be multiples of 2, divisible by 2. If atong index kay 3, dapat atong exponent should be divisible by 3. So, kung naay sobraan na, ato siyang i-factor. Bungkagon. And lastly, the radical symbol or the square root symbol. So, those are the composition of radical expression. So, we'll use this information in simplifying radical expressions for this lesson or for this module. So, how do we simplify radicals? So, to simplify radical expressions, you will need to break the radicand into its prime factors. Most probably, it should have a factor that is a perfect square or perfect nth root. Perfect square, perfect cube, fourth root, fifth root, sixth root, and so on. If the radicand can be written as a base raised into a power or exponent equal to its index, then the base can be extracted out. So, mo itong ipasabot ninyo ang divisibility sa exponent and the index para ma-extract it out. Otherwise, if not, it remains inside the radical symbol. Okay, example this one. How do we find the square root of 9x squared? Solution. Since square roots are commonly used, it's typical for the index number not to be written. Usually kung square root lang dili na siya isuot kasi ubang mga libro kung square root symbol lang dili makita ang index nagpasabot imaginary 2 ang index, like this one nasuot ang index 2 can also be written in this way na walay index 2 ang nasuot ra square root symbol 9x squared, pero understood kung y index the lowest index is 2. So, solution. So, the square root of 9x squared is equal to the square root of 3 square x squared. Nga naman, we can express 9 as 3 square since it's a perfect square, excluding x squared. Kaya x squared, remember, ang exponent sa x is 2, which is divisible sa index nga 2, since its exponent is the same with the index already. So, therefore, kung rewrite na o maririta na ang radicand, pwede na mag-extract. So, if both exponents of the radicand are divisible with the index, like 3 square o x square, ang ilang mga exponent kay 2. Divisible siya sa index nga 2. So, 2 divided by 2, 1 siya. So, magawas ang 3, magawas ang x. Then, we can extract out the base 3 and x. So wala na siya sa radical symbol. So, and that serves as our final answer. But what about if the radicand contains expressions that is not a perfect nth power, or the exponent of its base is lesser than the index? What shall we do with it? Bitaw sa. So, what if the square root of 9x cubed na siya? X cubed, niya to index kay 2. So, sobra siya, no? So, pwede siya i-factor out ang x cubed as x squared times x1. So, let us have this discussion. To help you simplify radicals easily, we will look into these 13 laws and apply it on the examples given for better understanding. So we'll start with the first law of radical, product rule. Extracting the root of a product a and b, square root of a and b. Product, no, kay tapad mas lang, multiplication. Extracting the root of a product a and b is equal to the product of their separate factors. The square root of a times the square root of b, or the nth root of a times the nth root of b. Ano tawag siya nth root? Kay we're not yet sure if pila gid ang index. Munang gibasa siya as nth root of a times the nth root of b. To continue, so we'll make use of the first law of radical, the product rule, in our example number 1. Example number 1 given is the cube root of 54. So how do we simplify the cube root of 54? Okay, you have there the reasoning. You'll get the factors of 54 that has a perfect cube. So ang 54, pagitaan mo siya factors nga na perfect cube. So since the index is 3 man, so cube root, so dapat na perfect cube. Therefore, our factors are 27 and 2. Ano 27 and 2 man, sir? Kaya 27 is a perfect cube. 27 times 2 is 54 man, no? 27 is a perfect cube. Masa din gikan ang anong gitawag sa perfect cube 27? Because 27 can be written as 3 cube. 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, that one. So, the cube root of 27 times the cube root of 2. Okay. Ang cube root of 27 can be rewritten as 3 cube. 3 times 3 times 3. If the exponent of the radicand is divisible with the index, then we can extract out the base 3. So, that one. Index 3, exponent 3. Makancel. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So, magawas ang base 3 outside. Then, ang second factor, cube root of 2, dili na siya pwede kay may cube root sa 2, di ba? And 2 is neither a perfect square nor a perfect cube. So, therefore, martain ang cube root of 2. So, we have it there, the final answer, 3 cube root of 2. 3 is extracted out since 27 is a perfect cube, while the second factor will be copied only. Okay. Example number 2 for the first rule. The square root of 50 y exponent 5. So how do we answer this one? So we'll get the factors of 50 that has a perfect square. Kaya ang atong index, imaginary 2. Pantay mo, wala igsuwat ng index 2. That means, index there is 2. So pagbasa na, square root of 50 y exponent 5. So we'll get the factors of 50 that has a perfect square since the index is 2 man, even if it's imaginary. Factors are 25 and 2. Also, we factor out y exponent 5 as kani o mo na ni siya, no, kay atong index 2 nya, atong exponent din sa y kay 5, so kida sobra. So unsa may number nga divisible sa 2? That is exactly 4. So sobra usa, 4 plus 1. So we need to factor out y exponent 5 as y exponent 4 times y exponent 1. Okay, 4 plus 1 is 5. Since exponent 4 is divisible with index 2, then, sige, buhat na ito sunod. Giri-write na ito ang 25 as 5 squared. Then, if the exponent of the radical is divisible with the index, then we can extract out the base 5 and y, except the second factor squared of 2y. Sir, 2y exponent to 1. Pagkasuwat naman din 2y lang, sir. If the exponent of the variable is 1, understood naman siya nga pwede siya dilisuot ang exponent ng 1. No? Same with when the index is 2. Pwede kaya kung dili siya isuwat. Basta, pinaka-least nga exponent o pinaka-least nga index. Well, this one, gisuwat na ko ang index nga 2 para makita nato ang divisibility sa exponent sa 5 o sa y. So, ang exponent sa 5 nga 2 ma-divide sa index nga 2. Ang exponent sa y, which is 4, is divisible by 2. Okay? So, what will happen? So, makancel ang 2 ug 2, magawas ang 5. Then, ang exponent sa y nga 4, i-divide sa 2. So, 4 divided by 2 is 2, munang y square. Ang nabilin, ang second factor, square root of 2y. 5 and y square are extracted out while the second factor will be copied only. Okay, we're done with the first law of radical. The second law of radical is power rule. Extracting the root of what do you call this one? Extracting the root as expressed a exponent m, where m and m kuwang lagi ni siya. Sorry. So to go back, the second law of radical is power rule. Extracting the root of a number expressed as a exponent m, where m and n are positive numbers. So, asa dalipit ang n? Ang n there is the index. Is equal to the nth root of a number a raised to a power m. In symbols, the nth root of a exponent m is equal to the nth root of a raised to exponent m outside. So, sabi kalainan lang duha. Ang exponent nga m gisuwat ra sa gawas. So, let's try with examples given. So, example number 1. The square root of 9 cubed. Transfer the exponent 3 outside the parentheses. So, it can be written as this one. So, let us try to compare sa iyahang concept o ang example. So, tinuod, the index is 2, the base is 9, then the enclosure parentheses, while the exponent m is written outside, in which atong exponent kay 3. So, next is to rewrite 9 as 3 square. So, ang 9 is rewritten as 3 square in order to cancel out the exponent and the index. So, since the index and exponent are the same, which is 2, so cancel out, magawas ang 3. Then, copying the exponent 3 outside the parentheses. So, nagawas ang 3, then copying the exponent 3. So, pwede siya basahon as 3 cubed. Base 3 is extracted out and copy the exponent 3. Then get the cube of base 3. So, 3 cubed is 27. Second example for rule number 2, power rule. Given is the cube root of 64 square. First is to transfer the exponent 2 outside the parentheses. So, I have there, ang exponent nga 2 na nasa gawas sa parentheses. Then, next is to rewrite 64 as 4 cube. Nganong 4 cube? Ganina, sir, kay square. Karon cube na. Kung unsa ang ato ang index sa gawas, ang rewrite sa base should be expressed as a cube. Okay, index nato kay 3 man, so dapat ang atong exponent pod sa base is also 3. So 4 cube is 64 man, no? Okay, 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4, 16. 16 times 4, 64. So we rewrite 64 as 4 cubed in order to cancel out the exponent and the index, which is 3 og 3. Then, copying exponent 2 outside the parentheses. So, gawas ang 4, then copy exponent 2. For 4 squared na siya. Base 4 is extracted out and copy the exponent 2. Then get the square of base 4. So, 4 square is 16. Okay. Rule number 3, quotient rule. Extracting the root of a quotient A and B. Quotient man okay, so divide. So, quotient, divide. A over B. Extracting the root of A over B is equal to the quotient. So, quotient, divide gihapon. Quotient of their separate factors is equal to the nth root of A over the nth root of B. Gibuwag ra. If they are of the same radicand. Same like index. Diba? Usar lang index. So, this one. The fourth root of 16 over 81 is equal to the fourth root of 16 over the fourth root of 81. We rewrite the quotient into separate radicals. So, gibuwag, no? Next. Atong gi-rewrite ang numerator ng radicand o denominator ng radicand. We rewrite 16 as 2 exponent 4. Nganong exponent 4 jud sir? Okay. Kung sa tong index, dapat mao iyahang exponent. Inig-rewrite mo sa iyahang base. Pero, if nag-rewrite mo sa base na dili siya makuha na pareha sa index nga 4, so dili siya pwede ma-rewrite. Pero, in this case, 16 can be rewritten as 2 exponent 4. Nga naman, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. Also, 81 can be rewritten as 3 exponent 4. 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27. 27 times 3, 81. In order to cancel out the exponent and the index. So, as you can see, ang ilang index at exponent parehang 4. Index exponent sa denominator parehang 4. So, ma-cancel out both up and down. So, what will happen? So, ma-extract out ang base 2 and 3 both up and down. That serves as your final answer. So, the final answer should be 2/3. Can I cancel out man ang exponent index? Second example. The cube root of 8y exponent 4 over 27x cubed. Gi-rewrite the quotient into separate radicals. So, gibuwag no? Cube root of 8y exponent 4 over cube root ni siya ha. Ansaya pa na siya. The index there is 3. The cube root of 27x cubed na siya. Next, na 4 gid siya. We need to change that to 1. So, going back. So, itong gi-change, no? Para di maglibog. So, they have the same index, both numerator and the denominator. Next is to factor first the numerator 8y exponent 4 as 2 cubed. Ganun 2 cubed, sir? Kaya tungkol ang 8 is a perfect cube, which is expressed as 2 cubed. 2 times 2 times 2. See? Then, ang y exponent 4, gibungkag as y cubed times y exponent 1. Since the index nato is 3, which is cube, such that 8 is a perfect cube. Also, 27 on the denominator is a perfect cube that can be expressed as 3 cube. Kani 27, gisuwat as 3 cube. Kaya 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Then, x cube, copy ra siya. Okay, yung exponent is the same with the index. Next. Okay. Extract out the base 2 and y on the numerator. So, therefore, cancel index, exponent sa 2, gawas ang 2. Cancel index, exponent sa y, 3, gawas ang y. Nabilin, cube root of y exponent 1 or cube root of y. Then, the denominator, while cube root of y remains the same. Then, extract out also 3 and x on the denominator na siya. So, the index and the exponent of 3 cancel, gawas ang 3. The index and exponent of Base x, which is 3, cancel. Goes on 3x. On the denominator. Denominator na siya. So that is our final answer. We have the fourth rule of the radical. Same exponent index rule. Set A. Extracting the root of a number that has same odd number on its power and index. Sige pasabot aning odd number. Odd number gani so kita no sa atong exponent and the index or the power and the index puro mga kida. So kung na index 3, ang exponent pud 3. Kung na index 5, ang exponent pud kay 5. Muna pasabot sa odd number is equal to the number itself in symbols. This one. So the nth root of a exponent m is just equal to the number itself, either positive or negative number. Kung unsay sign sa number nga nasud sa radical symbol nya puro odd ang ilang index of exponent, dapat ang iyang result should be the same number, either positive or negative. Sample 1. Prani. The index is 3, the exponent is 3. Then the base is a negative number. So therefore, ang iyang result, negative. Since the exponent and index are same odd numbers, which is 3, then the root is the number itself or the base, which is negative 5. Sample number 2. The cube root of 8 cube. Ganina, pro cube root sa ito, no? Pero iyang base negative. Kani atong base kay positive. So dapat ang iyang result should be positive. Since exponent and index are same odd numbers, then the root is the number itself, the base, which is positive 8. See? So difference plus minus a. So depende, no? So makopy sabsaya pa makopyahon nimo ang iyang sign sa base if ang index o ang exponent puro kida. How about the fourth rule of radical? The same index exponent rule, set B. Extracting the root of a number that has this same even number, ganina odd number, karon same even number on its power and index, is equal to the absolute value of the number itself. In symbols, the nth root of a exponent m is equal to the absolute value of a. So lahi na ni siya kay even number naman. So what will happen? This one. The fourth root of negative 3 raised to exponent 4. Di ba same man ang exponent ug index, so makancel, no? So dapat magawas sa ang negative 3 pero absolute value man. So the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. Kaya nga nung positive 3, simply because the exponent and the index are even numbers. So, like kida. Subtan. Sample number 2. The square root of 7 square. The exponent and the index are even numbers too. So, therefore, ang absolute value sa positive 7 is still positive 7. The fifth law of radical, the different indices rule. Then lain ang index. Indices is plural, no? Kay duha nakbo. Extracting the root of another root of a number is equal to the nth root of the number whose indices m and n are multiplied, which is in symbols. This one. The nth root of a. So kaduha siya gikuan o gi square root ba na siya or gaon basa. Duha ang index m og n. So gibuhat gi-multiply duha ka index m n radical symbol then a. Gi-multiply ang duha ka index. This one. Index here is imaginary 2. So the square root of the cube root of 64 is equal to the 6th root of 64. So yung na 6 naman na, sir. So ganito gibuhat, gi-multiply ang index m og n. So index diri kay 2. So primero. Then ay kadong index 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. Then gikopya nato ang radicand 64. Para ni radicand a. Next. So first is we get the product of the two indices and copy 64 as radicand. Next is gi-rewrite nato ang 64 as 2 exponent 6 nga naman. Makuha ba kung usbo na to pagsuwat ang 64 as 2 exponent 6? So kapila gi-multiply ang 2 sa galingon? Ka onom. So 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. 16 times 2, 32. Kalima pa. Kaunuman. So 32 times 2, 64. In order to cancel out same exponent and index. So the base 2, yung exponent kay 6, yung index kay 6. So makancel. So therefore, we can extract out base 2 as our final answer. Simple as that. Example number 2. Cube root of the square root of 8. Pila index gawas sa 8? It is imaginary 2. So this is 2. Yan, gawas 3. So 3 times 2, 6. 6th root of 8. We get the product of the two indices. Then next is gi-rewrite nato ang 8 as 2 cube. Kay 8 is a perfect cube magka. Gi-rewrite nato ang 8 as 2 cube, but it could not be extracted since the exponent is lesser than the index. Nga naman no? So di siya pwede. Dapat kung ma-extract out ka sa radicand, dapat ang exponent should be the same with the index. Mas kamay man ang 3 ka sa 6. Though divisible ba sila? Di siya pwede divisible. Pwede sa pareha. Multiples lang ang 3 sa 6. Pero di siya divisible. So what shall we do? Instead of extracting out, we transform it into exponential form. Ang kanang 6th root of 2 cube, gi-rewrite nato as base 2 exponent 3 over index 6 from radical to exponential. We transform it into its exponential form and simplify before rewriting it back into its radical form. So, ang base 2 raised to exponent 3 over 6, gi-reduce na itong 3 over 6 as 1/2. Pila may divisibility sa 3 ug 6. Mga ma-reduce. That is 3. So, pila ka 3 sa 3? 1. Pila ka 3 sa 6? 2. Munang 2 exponent 1/2. Before pag-rewrite as square root of 2. Why? Kaya ang exponent nga 1/2 is composed of ang 1 exponent sa base nga 2. Ang denominator nga 2 mao ang index. If we will try to recall module number 4, rewriting from exponential to radical form. So our final answer is square root of 2. It's activity time. Instructions. We shall solve and simplify these given radical expressions below using the laws of radicals. Show your complete solutions. So we have 10 items, but we will only answer items 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, that ends lesson 1. So we have more or less 5 laws of radicals that we can apply on the next lesson. Lesson number 2. Simplifying radical expressions using laws of radicals. What's in? Modify true or false. Write true if the given equation is correct. Otherwise, give your answer if it is false. So, usbon. So you have there given number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have this on your module, and you can probably answer that one on your own. Okay? So, mubalik ka sa lesson 1 of this module para ma-justify ang mga answer kung tinuod ba ni siya 3/4, 3, 7, 2, cube root of 2, 512. Okay? So to move on, what's new? How did you go about answering the activity? Were you able to identify the wrong equation or equations given? Did you change the answer to correct ones? If you were able to get it right, definitely you understand lesson 1 of this module because you were able to replace the wrong answer to the given equations. With those learning in lesson 1 of this module, What other ways can we simplify radical expressions? So what's it? A radical expression is said to be in its simplest form whenever the following conditions are satisfied. First, marag ang ubang conditions aning state na prove na siya sa lima ka laws of radicals no ganina. The radicand first, the radicand does not contain any perfect nth factor other than 1. So itong mga perfect square, perfect cube, kung na inahabilin, mo to siya. Sige, siya pwede mausab na. Then the second condition, denominator does not contain radical or irrational number. Then the last one, index of the radical has been reduced. Ato ning anamanamon pag-justify. When simplifying a radical, the work will be easier if you can identify a factor which is a perfect nth power of the radicand, which atong gi-practice ganina no sa lima ka laws of radical. So, condition number 1. Radicand does not contain any perfect nth factor other than 1. Kasi pasabotan ni. 1. The given there is the square root of 49y cubed z exponent 5. Pwede siya basahan y cubed or y exponent 3, then z exponent 5. So, atong pag-solve is gi-rewrite na to ang 49 as 7 square. Ato ipang rewrite no para ang ilang mga exponents sud sa radicand or radical symbol divisible siya sa index 2. Imaginary 2, imaginary 2. So rewrite 49 as 7 square and factor out y cubed as y square times y1, and z exponent 5 can be factored out as z exponent 4, z exponent 1. Ano dili man pwede sir nga z square, z1? Pwede ra gihapon, o dyan problema. Kay in-extract out nimo na niya, dapat you will derive at this answer. Para mas dali, para gamay ra ang masuwat, pwede siya z exponent 4, z exponent 1. In order to cancel out or divide exponent with the index. So, the next step is to extract out bases 7, y, and z, leaving y and z gihapon since their exponents are lesser than the index. Pasabutan na. So, ang exponent sa 7, divisible sa index 2, gawas ang 7. Ang y square, 2 divided by 2 sa index, gawas ang y. While ang z exponent 4, 4 divided by 2 sa index, is z square. 4 divided by 2 is 2 man ka. So, z square. So, ang exponent sa y o z nga puro 1, magpabilin sila sa radical symbol. Simply because 1 o ang 1 is gamay pa siya sa index nga 2. Lesser. So, that would be our final answer. Second example. The square root, index is 2 gyapon no? Imaginary 2. The square root of 28 p exponent 4 r exponent 6. Okay, this one, what shall we do? Factor out 28 as 4 times 7, wherein 4 can be expressed as 2 square, while copying p exponent 4 r exponent 6, since the exponents are already divisible with the index. So 4 times 7 is 28 no? Wherein ang 4 pwede mariritan as 2 square. Okay, atong index 2. 4 is a perfect square. It can be expressed as 2 square. Then, ang p exponent 4 o r exponent 6, divisible siya sa index imaginary 2. So, magawas ang 2, kaya cancel sa index o exponent ng 2. Then, ang p4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, munang p square. 6 divided by 2 is 3, munang r cube. Then, habilin, 7. Okay? So, this one, we extracted out bases 2, p, and r, leaving 7 inside the radical symbol since it is not perfect square, or 7 is an irrational number. So, siya ang gipasabot nga daily perfect nth factor. radicand does not contain any perfect nth factor. So siya ang nabiling factor nga dili perfect square. Condition number 2. The denominator does not contain radical or irrational number, therefore it needs to be rationalized. Kanini, sa oning usik pasabot sa rationalize. The given there is square root of 4 over 5. Nano siya sa loss of radical. The square root of a quotient is equal to the quotient of two separate factors. Okay, write the quotient of two radicals. The square root of 4 of the square root of 5. The square root of 4 is 2. Okay, kapapantang 4 is a perfect square man, which is the root 2. Munang 2 na lang, dili na siya 4. Over denominator, square root of 5. Kung ang square sa 5. Kaya pinakaduol ng perfect square is 4. Next is 9. So therefore 5 is irrational. So, ang denominator na to kay radical. Denominator does not contain radical or irrational numbers. So what will happen if atong denominator kay radical? We need to rationalize. So ang pag-rationalize is to multiply the same denominator up and down. So kung sa iyang denominator, multiply sa taas o ubos. That is the process of rationalization. Rationalize the fraction 2 over square root of 5. Kini siya by multiplying it by square root of 5 over square root of 5. So the result is rational number times irrational number is this one. Tapadra 2 square root of 5. Di siya mahitabo nga 2 times square root of 5 mahimong square root of 10. Kaya ang 2 is a rational number while square root of 5 is irrational number. Then the denominator, square root of 5 times square root of 5, square root of 25. Okay na. Okay. Number sa sulod times number sa sulod is number sa sulod. So 5 times 5 is 25. Next, numerator remains the same since it's already simplified na. Dili pa na mausab ang 2 square root of 5. While extracting the root of 25, that is 5. So the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, 25 is a perfect square. The root is 5. So that serves as our final answer. Second example. The given there is square root of 6 over y, then separate quotient, no? That is equal to the square root of 6 over the square root of y. Ibuwag. Next is to ma-simplify ba ang square root sa 6? Wala. Ang square root sa y, wa sa gihapon. So therefore, puro radical ang numerator denominator, pero if ang denominator is still a radical, so we need to rationalize. So, kung sa multiply, square root of y over the square root of y. Kung sa denominator, may multiply up and down. Rationalize the fraction square root of 6 over square root of y na siya by multiplying it by square root of y over square root of y. Nasayo pa na siya ha, dili siya 5, kundi y na siya. So, square root of 6 and square root of y is square root of 6y. Number o ang variable tapadra. Square root of y times square root of y is square root of y square. Product rule, no? Adding exponents. Next, the numerator square root of 6y remains the same since it is already simplified. Dili na siya pwede mausap na. While extracting the root of y square is y. Kaya ang index 2, exponent 2, cancel. Magawas ang y. So, dili na siya radical ang denominator. Bahalag radical pa na ang numerator. Basta ang denominator, dili siya radical nor irrational. That is all about condition number 2. The last condition is condition number 3. It states that the index of the radical has been reduced. So pag sulti na ito ang na-reduce. Okay, this one. We have two examples. The 10th root of a exponent 5. That is the given. So how do we simplify that one? Nakabamata nga ang 5 as an exponent is lesser than the index 10. So, dili na siya pwede ma-extracted, no? Unless atong i-rewrite from radical to its exponential form para ganina sa atong laws of radicals. We will rewrite the radical into its exponential form, then reduce the fractional exponent. So, ang 10th root of a exponent 5 can be rewritten as a exponent 5 over index 10. Ma-reduce ang 5 over 10 as 1 half. Kaya naman, divisible ang up o ang down. Numerator, denominator, divisible by 5. So that is 1 half. Then, gisuwat og balik ang exponential form nga a exponent 1 half back to its radical form. We write the exponential form a exponent 1 half back to its radical form, which is square root of a. Kaya ba mo nga ang exponent ka 1 half, kung ang composition, numerator is the exponent of the base a, while 2 it serves as the index. The square root of a exponent 1, or simply square root of a. So nangawagtang ang exponent of index. Kaya ba mo nga index imaginary 2, pwede siya dili isuwat. If ang exponent kay 1, pwede siya isuwat. Pinakagamay ng index o pinakagamay ng exponent, pwede dili siya isuwat. Sample number 2. This one, imaginary index 2 sa gawas to. So that should be read as the square root of the cube root of 16. So applying kapila to, fifth rule of the laws of radical, fifth law of radical, mong siguro to siya. If there are two indices, multiply the two indices, 2 and 3. Index imaginary 2 times index 3. And copy the radical 16. Mo ng 6th root of 16. Kaya 2 times 3 is 6. Copy 16. Then, rewrite na itong 16 as 4 squared and rewrite the radical into its exponential form. So, the 6th root of 4 squared. 4 squared, 16 man. 4 times 16. Then, since exponent 2, the exponent 2 is lesser than the index 6, so di siya pwede ma-extracted out unless atong i-rewrite siya as exponential form. So base 4 exponent 2 over index 6. Yan, 2 over 6 can be reduced. Reduce the exponent 2 over 6 to 1/3 before writing it back to its radical form. So 2 over 6 can be reduced as 1/3. So 4 exponent 1/3, then i-rewrite back to its radical. So kabauta nga ang 1 is the exponent of base 4, ang 3 index or the cube root of 4. Okay, so those are 3 conditions stating when a radical expression is simplified. So activity time. Instructions: solve and simplify the given radical expressions below using the laws of radicals that you have learned. Then show your complete solutions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then, for what I can do, performance task, answer items 1 to 6. Pag-justification na to siya, no? Modified true or false. Then, post test, answer items 1 to 10, letters only. So, thank you once again for listening. Hope this have helped you understanding this module number 5 of quarter 2.